I'm here today with Ken Webster. He went to George Washington University, learned a whole things about life, and then became a pastor. He's a bivocational minister. He's an accountant. His clients revere him. He's a part of the ICCI. He could help you know. And for those of you that are in this Take 10 moment, you do want to pull your car off or go to a separate room and take a little time to listen to what we have to say. Over the next 4 segments, he and I are going to be talking about some very real things, and maybe we'll get a 5th or a 6th segment to where he and I can talk about the things that he likes to do helping you. And I know when you start these corporations and you start your work for the Lord and you begin to do your thing, you're in and out of the business world. Well, here's a man that is bivocational, in and out, pastored churches, evangelism work, teaching marriage classes, doing all these, but you have your foot solidly in knowing how to move along the things of God financially. And so I want to ask you today, and of course, the George Washington University thing always intrigues me because that's right, one of the nation's best schools. And I want to know a little bit about how you got there and then how you transitioned from there to receiving that calling to where serving the Lord in ministry was what you wanted to do more than anything else in the world.
Well, I received my call to the ministry when I was 17. So I've been preaching since I was 17,
Wow.
1978. And so this year actually commemorates my 40th year of preaching. I left home when I was 21, went to the military, and as a result, ended up in Washington, D.C., and that's where I worked for the Department of Interior, and as an intern while I went to Ben Franklin School of Accountancy. And so George Washington bought out Ben Franklin School of Accountancy, and
So
as a
that's
result,
where
I ended up being at George Washington University.
Terrific.
Okay, and so from there, I came back to Houston, and the church that I attended at that time, my uncle was the pastor, and 2 years after being back, he died, and as a result, I became the pastor of the church, and so we ended up pastoring that church for the last 20 years.
Wow, and so during all that time, you were also doing the things that make your life work bivocationally. How did that affect your calling and your ministry? And how did you walk that tightrope? Because if you look right in that camera, there's a lot of folks out there that are walking that tightrope right now because to make it all work.
It's a you spend a lot of time. You spend because you're going to. Once I came back, I also had to go to seminary, and so trying to go to seminary, trying to pastor, trying to run a house, trying to run a business, all at the same time. It took a lot of energy. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of stick-to-itiveness to accomplish all of that.
So when you get ready to do your ministry, you had to take off your business hat.
Right.
And then you found out the church is just full of business.
Right. Exactly.
And it had to intrigue you as to how little care was taken to the business side of the church. Could you address that a bit?
Yes. Once I got into the ministry and got into pastoring, I realized that it was more than just preaching, and so you had to make sure that your books were kept up, and at that time the people who had the church before me had no books, they had no accountant, so they had no real business system. They were just paying bills and not keeping track of everything, and so I had to come in and reestablish all of that and use the skills that I've learned through George Washington to make sure that the church was running properly.
So, when you say that, it seems like ancient history because that was something that you came to the ministry with knowledge to do and how to make that transition. But many people, even today, they start an organization, they start a church, they start a little ministry, and they don't think about how important it is to keep the bank records straight, to keep every scrap of paper, and how to have someone in their life that they trust as an accountant. Are there a few tips that you might tell someone today that maybe already went down that road and they need to get their things together and start.
Yes, sir. So what I found by dealing with a lot of churches, and I've done a lot lately with churches that doesn't have their books together, that are in the process of trying to
Not the end of the world.
Right, it's not. But
Yeah.
the problem comes in is that they don't have anyone they can really trust to come in and we really try to hide, the fact that our books are not together, because we, on the outside, ministry wise, we look like we have it together.
Yes.
But we don't want anyone to come in and know that we really don't have it together financially. But if you're looking to expand, your books really have to be together. You got to allow someone that you trust to come in and really put that together for you without condemnation.
Brother, I don't know how hard to impress it on our viewers today that it's not bad to not know how to do something. And we want to seem as a pastor or a president of a 501 that we know how to do everything. And, as a minister, you're supposed to be confidential about what you do. But as a professional accountant, you are confidential.
Yes.
I mean, I know some preachers that'll go right to the coffee shop and put all your stuff on the street, names included, even
Right.
your address, let everybody know your business. Well, that's far and few between, but I don't know any professional accountant that stays in business over 5 minutes. So what are the earmarks that you're looking for if you're looking for an accountant? What are some of those earmarks that you're looking for?
Well, number one thing I'm looking for is for its experience, their track record. Who are they doing business for? Who they're doing business with? Their reputation. Who speaks for them, and if they have the right people speaking for them, then their integrity. I think that's very, very important. If they're going to be, because you got a lot of State Street accountants out there. People got to do just about anything.
QuickBooks.
Right. but we make sure that I would want them to have a high level of integrity.
Yeah, I see that because many times people don't want people to know their business. A lot of times that we do dance on a razor blade, and that's not your thoughts at all. You're thinking about how do I maneuver this through so that I can speak for them to a bank, I can speak for them to those people. Do you find it easier for a minister to trust someone that maybe have had some church experience before, like yourself?
Yes, sir. It's. I think here lately it's been easy for pastors to understand that since I have accounting background, I know I've been in pastoring for 20 years, so I know what they deal with. So they kind of open up to me, let me come in and sup with them, if you will, about how to get their books together. And so it makes the relationship that much easier for us to be able to communicate and fellowship about their finances.
Well, we're coming close to the time on this Take 10 moment, but would you just look in that camera and talk for a little bit to them about getting some help and finding someone that would help them navigate that tough spot they might be in?
I think the most important thing is recognizing that that the books are not together, and that you really need to get them together, and being able to open up and find someone that you're comfortable with coming in and consulting with you about your finances, someone who has the heart of the Father, someone who wants to see you progress and wants to make sure that your ministry goes to the next level. So I encourage you to look for someone with that capacity, someone that has integrity and character, someone that you can relate to, someone that you can communicate with, someone that's going to be down to earth and real with you about where you are and how you're going to get there.
I thank you, and I'll just take your last 30 seconds here and tell you, Ken Webster has become a real strong friend. Since the first day he walked in to the office here at ICCI, we knew our hearts were knit together. Part of that is because he no longer pastors. He's now doing marriage seminars and counselings and doing those things that will help the pastors. I think this extended life education he's had, foregoing all the other educations in the educational system and in the church world, but just his whole life experiences has brought him to where that he might be able to help you find the right kind of person or might be able to talk to you. You can contact him right through us. Just get in your ministry launch portion of the ICCI ministrylaunchnow.com or ministrylaunch.com. Any one of those places. Email me. I'll get you in touch with him. The main thing that I want you to do is to be calm and enjoy the fact that you can get your house in order and watch the blessings start pouring in. He can do it where he knows that we're taking care of business. God bless you. I'll see you next time.